According to the evolutionary timeline and evidence within the fossil record, humans have supposedly been around for roughly 50,000 years, whereas some estimates put that time much further back in history. How is it then that only in the past 5,000 years has agriculture and further developments formed? Given the fact that in the past 40 years alone since the invention of the computer, technological innovation has reached an exponential growth. Some theorize that perhaps our ancient ancestors also had advanced technologies, that due to political strife or possible tragedy left to the human race having to start over. The biggest mysteries of our world aren't those facing modern discoveries, but that of ancient discoveries. It appears that the more we learn about the ancient civilizations of Egypt, we find more and more evidence of impossible to explain artifacts that seem to stump even the top Egyptologists. Perhaps one of the most famous ancient megaliths found in Egypt is that of the Unfinished Obelisk. The massive stone has fascinated archaeologists for years, and they said that once it was finished it was going to be over 37 meters or 120 feet in height. This giant obelisk also weighs over 1,000 tons, while others have suggested it weighs over 1,250 tons. The reason this giant structure was never used is because the ancient Egyptians had difficulty removing the block of stone. As they attempted to move it, a giant crack appeared down the structure. After this, the stone was no longer able to be used, so it was left where it was. Due to its size and weight, this structure hasn't changed much since ancient times. In fact, to this day you can still go and visit the site where it's located. Every year thousands of people travel to marvel at its size. It's been estimated by Egyptologists that the stone was abandoned during the 18th dynasty. Archaeologists have said the amount of man-hours that would have been put into this stone would have been likely in the thousands, with the sad part being that it didn't ever get used. These giant structures were often used by the ancient Egyptians and were often placed at the entrances of things like temples. These giant stone structures would have stood proud outside of Egyptians' monuments, and would have been proof of their capabilities. It's incredible to think how the ancient Egyptians only had basic tools, and yet were able to create such massive structures. One of the problems the workers faced when building these massive structures were looking for stones that had no damage. They would have had to have made sure the whole rock didn't have any uneven surfaces. If it did, the whole process would have been left, like what happened with the Unfinished Obelisk. Although ancient Egypt was an impressive civilization, it did get conquered by other nations, and what's sad is that some of these megaliths have turned up in other countries. Some of them are said to be fake, but up to 25 of them have been confirmed as being real. As of right now, only 8 remain in Egypt. Recently, scientists made the discovery that electromagnetic properties exist in the Great Pyramid of Giza. This could mean that nanoparticle designs could be designed for highly efficient sensors and solar cells. The scientists and researchers have discovered the giant pyramid concentrates electric and magnetic energy into its internal chambers. This is located below its base and it creates a pocket of higher energy. As many of you know, the pyramids have inspired many legends over the years, and some think the Egyptians were way ahead of their time. Dr. Andre said the following: "Egyptian pyramids have always attracted great attention. We as scientists were interested in them as well, so we decided to look at the Great Pyramid's radio waves. The international team noticed the shape of the Great Pyramid of Giza, and its ability to focus electromagnetic energy. The team then created a model of the pyramid as they wanted to measure its electromagnetic response. By doing these studies, the team was able to see how the wave energy was being scattered or absorbed by the pyramid. The scientists have said that the ancient Egyptians were not aware of this design. The pyramid is special though. As mentioned, it's able to focus wave energy through to its core. It seems that every year researchers find out more about these pyramids. Even with the technology we have today, it would be tough to construct the Great Pyramid of Giza. Its construction over 4,000 years ago is so astounding in some people's eyes that they invoke mystical or even otherworldly involvement. Over the years, evidence has been presented which could suggest the pyramids predate the Egyptians, and that a more advanced civilization lived before them. The Great Pyramid is located at the centre of the landmass of the Earth, When looking at the pyramids, most will agree that it has 4 sides. However, photographs taken years ago go against this. The centre of the 4 sides are indented with an extraordinary degree of precision. This means that it actually forms an 8-sided pyramid. What's strange though is this can only be observed from the sky. So many people have questioned why you're only able to see this when you're above the pyramid. What use would this be when they were made thousands of years ago before flight? Another strange thing is that it's only detectable at dawn and sunset on the spring and autumn. This is when the sunset casts shadows in the pyramid. Not only this, but the blocks were made with such perfect precision that each block appears to be an exact clone in size to the rest of the blocks on the pyramid. Meaning the cut of stones was so perfect it would be impossible to slide something as thin as a piece of paper between any 2 stones. The only way to accomplish such a precision cut in the modern era would be to rely on laser guiding and cutting. As new discoveries and 3D mapping of the pyramids continue, even more mysterious nature of their structure were found. Archaeologists and Egyptologists found high trace amounts of chemical compounds throughout the shafts of the pyramid, and they have the ability to generate a massive amount of hydrogen by utilising commonly found base chemicals in the region. This has led some theorists to believe that the pyramids themselves could have once been a very powerful hydrogen generator, capable of supplying electricity and energy similar to that of modern-day power plants. Another thing that's incredible is their development of advanced mathematics. One of the most incredible advancements that the early Egyptian civilization made during the height of its reign was that of the advanced forms of early mathematics. It would take the rest of the world thousands of years to later rediscover and practically use their own developments within agriculture and problem solving. Though many historians and Egyptologists originally believed that the ancient Egyptian civilization only had a basic system of linear mathematics, as more inscriptions and documents were uncovered, this theory proved to be completely untrue. It appears that not only were the mathematical developments far more superior than previously understood, but that work to uncover more of their discoveries is still going on, as it appears their mathematics might be more advanced than our understanding today. Early recovered papyrus scrolls such as the Moscow Egyptian, Lana and Berlin mathematical scrolls detail a complete system of numerals, and these utilize a base of 10 units, similar to that of our modern-day mathematics. Interestingly, it was not until the discovery of the Rhind mathematical papyrus that the extent of this system was completely understood. According to the find, the ancient Egyptian civilization, while still being at a very young age, was capable of mathematical concepts such as that of multiplication, divisions, fractions, different forms of algebra, quadratic equations, complex geometric understanding, and even a primitive form of calculus. These discoveries not only helped Egypt keep track of its yields in agriculture, population, structural building, angles of degrees, mapping out the stars and even calculating the size of the entire planet, but provided the early civilization with the tools to delve into much deeper concepts, such as early forms of conceptual math and understanding the universe itself. It appears that these mathematical breakthroughs not only helped to elevate the Egyptian civilization, but allowed it to grow beyond the mental limits of its neighbouring countries and enemies. Another strange artifact of the Egyptian civilization is that of the symbolic carved hieroglyph images located in the mysterious Hathor temple at Dendera in Egypt. The strange images and symbols depict what appears to be an in-depth blueprint for modern-day electric lighting devices. The image included a glass tube with filament inside that appears to connect to a series of connectors commonly seen in the modern-day bulbs, an invention supposedly not discovered until 1879. Interestingly enough, the symbolic image also depicts a long wire running from the back end of the Dendera bulb, while humans raise their hands to worship to giants around them. Given the vast and extensive amount of evidence some have gathered in the past of a possible race of giants, of whom were capable of using advanced technologies to have assisted with the creation of the pyramids at Giza, and have been depicted in many other ancient Egyptian carvings, this could also be overwhelming evidence of the gifts of technologies and advancements provided. Interestingly, the temple depicting these devices also seem to have had no conventional means of lighting. The hallways are so long and narrow that using mirrors to shed light into these rooms is not possible, and the use of torches were not existent due to the fact that no residue of ash has been found on the ceilings of the old temples, which is a common way to discern lighting practices in every other building in the area. This could be proof that not only were traditional methods of lighting not used, but that perhaps an alternative source of lighting was provided in the region. Many Egyptologists argue that the depiction is nothing more than a collection of symbols, drawn in a way to appear nearly identical to modern-day light bulbs. However, given the fact that these symbols have never been seen outside of this one depiction, this theory seems to be quite a stretch, and some theorists believe this could be evidence of advanced technology. So what do you think of these ancient discoveries in modern-day Egypt? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.